Hello and welcome to my retreat from Tulum. I am Kia here with another message delivered from Source Energy. I have just pulled it from the ether, and this is directly for you at home. Just kidding! Ha ha ha! Jokes, jokes. So if you follow me over on Instagram at Kia's World YT, and if you don't follow me now, or else click off this video. I will not care about you anymore. That's my hard sales pitch. Ha ha ha! I often share in my stories a lot about problematic and controversial influencers that talk about health, that talk about mental wellness, all those sorts of things, and we talk a lot about what they're doing that I find to be wrong. However, I think it's important to also point out some people who are doing things correctly or right, or helping me and helping this community with pointing out a lot of the downsides of the wellness and self-help industry. So I came across an account called Why Don't You Say Something?
We are not one. We have never been one. We can't ever be one until we have raised high.
And at first I thought it was real, and I was gonna send it out and be like, oh my God, look at this person. However, it actually turned out to be someone who was formerly in the coaching space, in the boss babe, Instagram coaching world, and then saw some of the downfalls of it and got out and is now making really, really funny and informational and I think just high quality content.
I am just so lit up by the women who have joined me in this container.
So I invited her to be on Kia's World and have a candid conversation, and she agreed. So this is that conversation. Now, a lot of people have reached out to me and said, your 3-hour lives are just far too long, and I can't blame you. I'm very sorry. I can just chit chat all day. So I want to start making a little bit tighter, more concise content. So this is going to be one of those videos. However, if you want to see the longer form version, I'm going to put it on my Patreon, and I'll put the information of how to join and what that's all about in the description of this video. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Eva from Why Don't You Say Something. I hope you enjoy it. So we don't have a similar story, I don't think. I think you were a little bit more deep into the world of coaching and spirituality. I was more a student. I never went into the coaching space, but I had gone and been coached by a life coach, and I was starting to dip my toe into like joining groups and stuff. So I'm interested to hear your story. Where did you begin? Like, what was your gateway drug or gateway program into this whole world?
Yeah, so for sure, my gateway drug was yoga. I started yoga when I was 19 years old, and then I started teaching yoga, and I did 4 or 5 yoga teacher trainings. And it was in some of those yoga teacher trainings that they did a lot of course, spiritual work, but also like mindset work. Like you need to expand your heart to teach and things like that, which got me into this kind of weird life coachy mindset work stuff. But for sure, the path was started spirituality stuff at like 19, was like, people just aren't, seeing the things that I see, or the world is like more open than this. And then through yoga teacher trainings, I got into more, hey, be a life coach. Yeah, so basically I went yoga to, Then I went and got into the spiritual world. So I listened to Hay House Radio. Are you familiar?
I didn't know they had a radio. I know what Hay House is.
It was called Hay House Radio because it was an internet radio. And so there was always a show going nonstop of all of their ding-dongs, essentially. And I have a
Hay book.
Oh,
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, I have it highlighted with all the insane stuff.
Yes. Your farting is a result of your thought about this or that.
There's a lot of talk about the digestive system at the end of the digestive system process, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like there seems to be a lot of farting, a lot of anus. Like if you had questions about your anus, like this book will cover it because it's brought up quite a bit, just so you know. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, I mean, so I got really into Hay House and I listened to whatever her name is. What's her name? Louise Hay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I listened to Louise Hay constantly with the physical things that I was experiencing in my life, which were like horrible period problems, you know, which has been something in all of the women in my family, okay? We did not manifest it. I would literally print out affirmations from that book and have them on my fridge and like, I need to do this, I need to be different and try and heal myself. So did that book, got into Hay House, which is a total joke. Each person from Hay House is hysterical, in my opinion. So I got into Hay House and did an angel therapy practitioner training.
Oh,
I went to Hawaii and I got certified in mediumship. And as an angel therapy practitioner, to talk to the angels and tell you what the angels are saying. So
did you feel at the time when you finished that course that you did develop skills that were applicable in any way, or did you feel like you were forcing yourself a little?
Okay, so it was both. It was definitely both. There was times where I felt like, what's going on? I'm hungry. Like, this is just absolutely nothing. And then there were times where I did feel like I learned something or I did something. Looking back, so we would do a training where you were supposed to do a medical intuitive training.
Oh no.
So you would find somebody in the room. You only know their it's terrible. You only know their first name and you're supposed to do a medical reading for them.
Well, because that's medical medium, basically. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Anthony
So I was
William.
the original medical medium actually 10 years ago.
Okay.
This is what that was. And at the time I said something to a woman about her dental work. Okay. I didn't do anything too damaging. I was like, do you have dental pain in the back of your mouth? And she was like, yes. So that was it. So there was things that I felt like, that was it, right? There was confirmations of skills that I thought I was learning. But in the end, I left totally freaked out and I felt like ghosts and things were following me. I felt like I opened myself up to some kind of dark arts and was just pretty much freaked out afterwards.
And do you mind me asking about it can give me a range or, approximate about how much that training would be, like cost-wise?
Oh, I think it was probably like 2,000 plus having to pay for hotel and airfare on my own.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's an investment.
It is. It really is. It was.
Was there ever a time back then when you felt like, okay, I need to do this for my health or to heal? Like, was that kind of the goal, like to heal yourself and eventually, was it, or what were you trying to become into the business? Like, what was your mindset back then?
Gosh, so interesting. At the time, this is so douchey to say, I felt like I had spiritual gifts.
No,
that I wanted to learn more about.
Yeah.
So I had been told from what I learned, oh, you're an empath. Oh, you're an intuitive. So I wanted to learn more about it and be able to use it. That's where it came from. When really I needed to go to therapy to learn about like codependency or boundaries. And not that I think like people can't be an intuitive person or have someone that has empathy. Those are totally real things. But can you psychically, do all of this stuff? Yeah. Okay, well, me personally, I don't think so. I did have another retreat experience that was very interesting. At the end of a yoga teacher training, we had a silent retreat with a sweat lodge.
Scary.
And I almost didn't do it because I don't know if you're familiar with the guy who killed a bunch of people from the sweat lodge.
James Arthur Ray.
Yes, James Arthur Ray. That had happened maybe like 2 months before we did ours.
Oh my gosh. Yikes.
So I was like, I'm not doing it. Totally freaked out. And I will be on this week-long retreat. We were out in the woods and it was just like a normal retreat, but I'm not doing it. And then I ended up doing it and felt comfortable because we had a traditional Native American woman from that land actually lead the whole thing all day. And they showed me that you're not supposed to be tented in with garbage bags.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like a loose flap of fabric and you could lift it up at any time.
Yeah.
So anyways, I did it. It was very interesting. Lots to say about that, I guess, but it was another spiritual experience.
All right. So you became a medium, sort of. And then, so when did you end up becoming kind of the boss babe? Is there like a medium to boss babe pipeline?
I became a health coach, which at the time I thought was fine and good, and I wanted to help people and work for myself. So I became a health coach, which was a year-long program. That was about 7 years ago. And once I was a certified health coach, I started to make a website and sell my sessions. And then that went into the boss babing from there. So about 7-8 years ago, into the boss babe marketing world.
Hey guys, it's Eva. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I have some time to myself and I'm getting some work done and answering some emails. And I was like, hi, I want to go live and I want to talk about this really important thing. This is going to be a very quick download and lesson for you about marketing and business. Hi guys. So one thing to know about me is that I'm always reading. I love books so that you can feel like you understand the platform better, so you can get the down low on what's really going on, what I'm experiencing, what my clients experience, and know how you can feel more empowered and get out there and kick ass.
Now, did you know at the time that you were entering into that, or did it just feel kind of like this is what marketing is and this is normal?
Yeah, gosh, it was such a slow creep. I first learned how to make a website. Okay, I'll make a website and put the pictures, and do you need to code it? And then I learned about social media, which is its whole other thing, but how does social media work, or how do you take a good picture? So it started more techie. And how do you do a newsletter if you're going to let someone know about something once a week? It started techie, and then it went on from there to courses and programs and big coaching programs. So I didn't know that's what I was getting into. And it only really got bad the past couple years once I started working with a certain vein of teachers, which got so cuckoo and out of control that I'm grateful actually that I hit my rock bottom. So, yeah.
There always seems to be a point where people either get in even deeper or they leave, I feel like, because it seems to, from my experience, just hearing people's stories and kind of my own as well, there hits, like, it's just, like you said, a slow climb, things start happening, you go, okay, oh no, I'm going to forget about it. Then the big thing happens and you either commit and go all the way to become like, the second in charge, or you leave.
Exactly.
It seems like. So,
exactly.
So when you were kind of in the beginning of the journey, were people recruiting you into their programs? How are you finding out about these coaching programs, and how are you finding out about these, sessions to learn? How did you get into that?
I saw Facebook ads of people telling me I needed to have an abundant business as a healer or a helper. So I saw Facebook ads. I joined a Facebook group and a challenge, signed up for a program, and they continued on from there. It wasn't like through friends or someone saying, hey, if you sign up through me, you'll do this. It was literally marketing online.
And do you remember like what kind of the promise was? Was it like, were they saying like 6 figures in a month? Was it, like happiness? Like what kind of were the promises that you remember?
So the program that I joined had something about your 9 to 5 in the title. That first program was all about hating on, crapping on any kind of 9 to 5, and instead being really happy, being your own boss, being free from the things you hate, and helping other people and having abundance. So I did not enjoy my job at the time. I was working for a company that was just terrible, and they were a hot mess. And I was like, this is it, you guys. So it was really selling me that dream.
Did you at any point during throughout growing your business online? Did you feel like you had hit that success? Like you actually felt like, okay, I got what I was promised and this is going to now be the business that I think it can?
Yes, totally. So, oddly enough, I did have what I would think is a good amount of success. I probably profited over like $100,000, which, for some people that's not the case. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much. But with what I invested and what was coming and going, that's kind of what I got out with in general. And I did have months where I was bringing in $10,000 and having really big launches. So I did feel like I got to that point. And at the same time, it was so freaking stressful. I was not happy. It was this constant machine of all of these things. So I did feel really happy. I did feel like I got it, I'm doing it, but it wasn't something sustainable. And I did not think at the time, oh, this sucks, or, oh, here I am and it's not it. It took me a while later to say, oh, even at your success, you weren't happy or it fully didn't work,
And what were your offerings back then? Did you have like online courses? Were you working one-on-one? What was your main source of income, your offering?
Yeah, so I had I had an online marketing academy, which totally has its problems, and because marketing is inherently like messed up, and online marketing is messed up, and a lot of the things that I learned to literally speak to people's pain points is messed up. I wasn't doing anything wildly scammy to me looking back. Maybe that will present itself to me at some point. I wasn't doing anything wildly scammy. I mean, it was $1,000 program that was 6 months long, all about completely building your online business. So how to set up websites, how to set up email marketing, all of those kind of things. So I had that academy that was $1,000. And then I had one-on-one coaching that was like $3,000, which was, I would work with them for 6 months and help them build out their whole business. So there was problems with it, but those were my key offerings around online marketing. Then I went into weird teaching about money and manifestation, and we went off the deep end there.
Something that I was really feeling that I downloaded today, and sharing with you an experience that I had where I worked with someone one-on-one and paid $6,000 and still didn't get to where I wanted to because of this one thing.
What do you feel when you look at those pictures and videos of you from back? It was a few years ago. It wasn't like 10 years. What was the time frame? Like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
About?
No, like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
2 years on.
How do you feel looking at that now?
It's so weird. Part of me is like so embarrassed. Like I truly feel like I was one of those family members that DMs you and is like, I have a new oil for sale. Have you heard about my thing? Like when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I was one of those people, right? And then another part of me is like not embarrassed and I'm like, I'm not that person anymore.
Yeah.
And I was also sold so much stuff. Partly my choice to focus and go down that route, okay? But I also was a product of the things I had been taught and been around, and the things that this world can sometimes tell us we need to have and stuff. So it's embarrassing. It also feels like if I look back at what I was wearing 10 years ago or what my makeup was like 12 years ago, you would be like, oh my God, that's so bad. But you just literally didn't know any better. I was still trying to make my business work. I was still trying to have that girl boss success. Things started to go downhill or not feel right. And I was still trying, still investing money, still sacrificing so much of my freaking life, like my personal life or all of these things to make it work. And then over time, I had so many friends. After 8 years in the industry, I had so many friends saying, it's not working. Like, I'm not happy. Like, okay, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Everyone was telling me secretly that they weren't happy or their coaching business was not working. Their course business was not working. And I was literally like, you guys, can we get on a Zoom call and you all just actually say this together, because this is wild. So I became fed up. I started to go to therapy and realized a lot of stuff in therapy that I'm not happy. I don't need to be doing this anymore. It was huge for me to untangle that from my identity. I was like, you are an entrepreneur. Like, you are this person. Lots to talk about the whole like sunken cost fallacy of, well, how can you stop? Because what do you mean? How can you walk away?
Yeah.
You know, if you're in an MLM and you're already at this level, but like you've done this, so like, well, stopping. So I did not give a crap anymore, and I stopped my business. When I made this account, I had already been out of my business for a year, and I thought it would be 200 people following me, where I would just, post this just done, whatever stuff, like, just a place for me to rant and have a couple anti-MLMers be like, yeah.
So basically, once I sold so many of your 10K spots, I actually got the download that I needed to just rest and be in ease with my yoni. But it's not a problem. It's even more powerful now. My VA is going to run the program, and I gave her the codes to give to you. Yes, hello everyone. I have a new program, Quantum Soaring Leaping Diamond Level One-on-One VIP, and it is application only, of course, no peasants. So many of you want to know how I lead such magnetic and potent masterclass that deliver the true codes of what you need downloaded. And there is an art form to this. You want to come learn from me because I'm the master. That's the key to the class.
Well, I think that's a testament to probably your therapy and going through that. I'm a huge, fan and proponent of going to therapy. It helps you kind of put these things in order and see, okay, what was I thinking, and forgive yourself. I mean, that's been my personal experience too. But do you find a lot of people who aren't there yet at the level where of recognition and understanding of what you're going through? Are they seeing this content and freaking out because they're still a coach and they're like, oh my God, this is going to make me look bad?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of that. People who are not ready. They're not ready for the truth. And they're very deep in it. Yeah. Maybe something's not working, but they're thinking, no, I just need to find a different magic pill, but I still need to be in this business. There's also people who have started to not have success and feel really defeated, or they took programs that weren't worth it. So they're really like defeated, but no, I think this is something's off. Yeah, it's kind of a mix, but it's definitely majority people who are still in it or used to be in it and it didn't work and they've been blaming themselves. So that's what inspires me to share. Yeah. Because I'm truly like blown away and / like freaked out at how many messages and stories I get. Yeah. I'm like, there must be someone else talking about this. What? Yeah. So it's a mix, but definitely why I keep going for everyone. Why I share the things that I did behind the scenes is because there's a lot of shame to it for people, and they're still in it or trying to recover from what they experienced emotionally or financially.
One thing to look out for in your coach or teacher is their relationship with money, and you might be surprised at that. What I've seen a lot of in the coaching, spiritual industries, course industries, online business industries is money worship.
When I left my business, I was $25,000 in debt.
Oh man.
Hello? This isn't working.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to be like, the math ain't mathin', and I'm not happy. It's also easy for me to talk about what I did because I genuinely think that I didn't really super mess anyone up. I think that I was like a good person and ran a good business, and like maybe once someone asked for a refund because they just like weren't in a place to do the program and they never even logged on. I still have things to learn, and people could totally come forward and be like, yo. And I've even thought about that, like, oh, okay, so I would set up a payment plan with someone to give them their money back from what I charge them. But I don't think I ever did like a horrible job as much as I could, but I'm open to it. So
Yeah, no, that's important. And it's good that you're opening that up to, for the opportunity to, it could happen. Someone could come forward and say, I wasn't happy or whatever. I think that's cool that you're not like, no, I'm done. I'm leaving that in the past and everyone can screw off. Like, that's really cool too, that you're, still thinking about your students even several years later. Was there ever a time that when you were in the business still, did something marketing wise or maybe tried to make it seem like things were going better than they actually were to retain students or to bring in students?
Yes. So for the most part, it was totally real. Did I bring excitement to things and was I genuinely excited? Yes. It's like if someone was at essential oil meeting, are they genuinely excited? Like, yes, but okay. So for the most part, it was very true and real. I definitely highlighted my clients' wins or testimonials and wasn't like, oh, guess what? This person didn't do something. I definitely highlighted the positive. There was a post that I shared that is so embarrassing. I shared it to my Instagram stories, and it was the flashback of me talking about like abundance as flowers, and it's your choice to choose. Just like you can go find flowers today. If you asked, can I find flowers? Yes, you could. You can find money too. Like, what? At that time, I think I was really struggling financially. Like, I don't know how I didn't piece that. I thought, oh, like I'm doing this work on my money story, so I need to share that with other people too. But I never like directly lied or I never directly lied. But was I delusional? Sure.
Was there ever a time when, you had a price in mind or you thought was fair and your coach was like, more, you need to be more, or that was your issue because you weren't charging high enough prices?
Oh my God, so many times, like with coaching friends, or if you put something in a Facebook group, it was almost a shameful thing to say that you wanted your prices to be low. Like, I mean, so many times that I can't even remember, and I still couldn't ever get there. I was charging like $2,500, $3,000, maybe $3,500 for 6 months of coaching with me. And people told me that wasn't enough. Is it enough? I don't know, whatever. But you go to a therapist and they're like, okay, one session, $100, maybe $200, whatever. What is this about? So that was said to me so many times, I can't even count. I've also seen a ton in the industry, what I call like gatekeeping or breadcrumbing, where you think you're going to get all the information you need, but then they say, oh, well, that's actually in our next level mastermind. So now that you've done this, to expand more, you've actually got to do this. And then now that you've done that, now you should do private. And it just keeps going. Yeah. It just keeps going. So that also happens too.
It's like Scientology. You keep climbing the ladder, then there's another ladder.
Exactly. You need to get clear. We're all just trying to get clear. Please.
Yeah, and I think I'm hoping, I guess this is my thought and hope, that people aren't going to be chasing these dreams like you brought up in the beginning where, oh, I hate my 9 to 5. Like, people who work 9 to 5s are losers, and there's this other reality in which I can join and become this free-flowing boss babe that travels to Tulum and just, hula hoops around and makes money from, the rubbing my hands together. It comes to me somehow. Like, I think people are gonna I'm hoping, fingers crossed, are not gonna believe that that's possible, because if it was possible, it would have happened for the millions of people who did sign up for these courses already.
Yeah.
So I think, more reality, like, look, work sucks. 9 to 5 suck. But maybe if you find one that you're decently interested in and you have work-life balance and you have a hobby on the side, you might be all right.
I now have a job, which is a 9 to 5, and this is new. It's like a couple weeks old now, where I love it and I'm so happy, and I'm working in social services in healthcare. So it's basically people who are super sick, need a lot of help, don't have resources, are having the worst day of their life because of a medical experience. And I'm there to help them. You know, I make like nothing, but you can have something that is fulfilling your dreams. And yes, it can suck. Sometimes I'm there and I'm like, oh God, I still gotta be here. But when they hate on 9 to 5s, it's just ridiculous. And I was someone who hated on someone who had a 9 to 5, and here I am. So it's possible, you know?
Well, I find that really interesting about your account too, because I see I've followed your journey for a little bit when you were like, okay, I'm starting this job. I just finished this training. I'm going to do it. And you're saying that you've met new people and that it's difficult, but that you're glad for it. And I almost have FOMO because I'm kind of working for myself now and doing, not coaching, but I do YouTube, and I have a video production business that I do on the side. And I'm like, man, like, maybe I should get into healthcare. Like, I'm like now having FOMO for your career. And I think it's just because that is the way social media works. And you see like what others are doing and look at their smile and like look at their photos and hear their voice and go, you know, she seems really happy, healthy, like something she's doing. I'm interested. And I think because the people who do the coaching are posting the most, you think like, oh, it's the coaching industry. But in reality, I think just not enough people with normal kind of lives post in that way where it's like, I want what she's got.
I call it lifestyle marketing, where they are saying, you know, ooh, here I am, and here's my bag, and here's my juicy morning, and here's my life, and here's the hotel. So go buy this little course. I mean, they're selling their lifestyle, and they're selling that dream and that goal, and that's why you should sign up with them. Which, fancy that, I made an Instagram post saying, hey, here's some examples of luxury marketing, of coaches doing luxury marketing, them in hotels, them with their beautiful designer bags, and saying this is an example of luxury marketing. One of those coaches commented that they would sue me for literally giving that example. But okay. But exactly, like you can close your eyes and find a coach or a girl boss saying, look at my life now. It's so easy. You can have it this way too, by doing some random, by insert here, a human design course, an astrology alignment, a marketing, insert here, a course, whatever the heck they're offering.
Yeah. Yeah, it's big in MLM too. It's not, unique only to coaching, but it's definitely transferred over into, buy my course and follow me too. I mean, that's its own business in itself. Yeah. Just like my Instagram account, which then I can sell you ads later down the line or sponsored, whatever. But I just, I'm one of those people that look at something and go, it's probably fake. Now, I used to look at it and go, oh, I'm stupid. Oh, I suck. Oh, I'm lazy. Oh, if only. And then when you start to get into it, when you start to see a lot of these people who are running these businesses are holding on for dear life.
We teach in marketing, like you can see, open up any email, you might see it, that I used to teach, you speak to someone in the first person. You don't say, how's everyone doing? I just wanted to let my newsletter know. You say, hey, I wanted to let you know because I think you might be a good fit for this thing, even in an email, because it seems way more personal, and it's going to that person is what they teach in marketing. And it's so creepy now. Even on Instagram posts, like, I know you want this. I know it's time for you to shine. Like, wait, this is on a public Instagram and you don't even know me. Yeah. Totally simpy, weird language.
My tip, and this is, kind of to the extreme level, but I always think if I read anything, especially if it's a salesy type thing, if I was a murderer, would this apply? Like, I'm a horrible murderer. That's all I do all day, just like slash people. Like, does this post still make sense? One thing I wanted to bring up that you said that I thought was a really good point was women supporting women. And that's something I've heard a lot. And when I don't get too much criticism, I get a little here and there, but I think I keep it just like civil enough that I don't get like super hate yet. But, you know, people will say like, oh, what a bitter woman, trashing another woman, you know, not supporting other women. And what I have to say to that is women can also abuse women. Women can also cause women harm. So if I'm supposed to support every woman, you're going to hurt other women at the same time. So I think I'm more for the equality. Men need to be held to the same standard as women to not hurt women.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. I mean, it's silly. I have absolutely gotten those messages of people saying, wow, what a shame. You could use your platform to uplift others, and instead you choose to be a woman hater and bash women. This is not, you know, okay. And so I also say, okay, but you just did it to me. So you obviously approve of it and enjoy it.
Yep.
Okay, wow. And B, I don't care what gender anyone is or whatever they want to be or call themselves. This is unethical, or this is shady, or this doesn't line up for me. And other people tell me the same. So that's that.
Yeah, and it's usually funny. There's usually some sort of like you said, like, you're ugly, bitch. Like, okay, I didn't say that about anybody. Like, that's 10 times worse, in my opinion. And sometimes I'll engage, and sometimes I'm just like, whatever. You know, like, after the 5th one, I was like, well, this will pass, you know? And it's just ironic. It's very ironic that, you know, as a woman, you're held to this higher standard of, oh, we need to support all women, yet... That's exactly what I think I'm doing, and I think that what you're doing. I think you're helping men and women, or any sort of, you know, non-binary, anything that has gone through these experiences, and can look at your page and go, okay, you know, I see myself in her, or I can, you know, I can change too, or I'm glad I'm not the only one, and I think that's so important.
Yeah. I mean, women supporting women does not mean that women cannot critique women or hold them accountable. I don't understand.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the people who are so afraid of being critiqued are people who have something to be critiqued on, or they feel like they would maybe crumble if they were to be reviewed or critiqued.
Yeah.
So, okay. It's also interesting when people say like, oh, why are you choosing to bash women? Or why are you choosing to be a basher? Like you said, they will basically say something super mean to me. And I'm like, okay, do you see the logic at all? Okay, what?
They don't.
They don't. I also do try, I do not do this all the time, but in general, I do try a lot of times to speak to the tactic, to speak to the strategy, to speak to what is unethical. I'm not saying, look at her stomach, she's such a dummy. Okay. I'm saying, hey, when you say I make 10K months and then dance in your lingerie, there's things to think about there. So I will try sometimes to speak to the tactics or what that business is doing, and not to them as a person, like you're obviously lonely and a loser, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing to do with them as a woman or a gender or whatever the heck. Sure. It's about their business. And a whole nother topic. I think like Ash Rising has talked about this, and Rachel K. Albers, how these people have chosen to be the face of their business. If I was going to critique Honda or Apple, someone would have no problem with it. I could tweet about it and say, Apple, my phone doesn't work and you suck. But we can't critique people because they've chosen to be the mascot and the face of their business. It's a business. Yep. When they say I've made $2 million this year, but then I'm mean for critiquing their business strategy, it's not about that person, and they have also chosen to be the face of the business.
Yeah. That's what I say. I'm like, no one's forcing you to sell a book about your life, and because you have, like, it's fair game. Sorry, like if you don't, if you don't want the public critique, go private, and I will never say a word again. And and same thing for me. Like, I'm putting my face out there, you're putting your face out there. Like, obviously, it could hurt my feelings. I could read something and go, oh, they're right, and it hurts, or oh, that's mean, or oh, I didn't know my forehead looked like that. God, and I'm not above it. I definitely will feel some sort of way about it, but I'm willing to have that risk because I think the reward of doing this is much greater than any, negative feedback I'm most likely going to receive at some point. So.
Yes. And I think you're on the same page about, like, you're for freedom of speech.
Totally.
Right? I mean, you're for freedom of speech. That's why you're saying these things. And so they get to have freedom of speech, so do we, right?
Yep.
And then in the same vein, like when people DM me or they comment, I'm like, okay, cool, that's your freedom of speech. And I'm not shocked by it. I can't believe someone would do that. This is naturally what happens, or what could be an option. So it's funny, like, I really am for freedom of speech, and people will write all kinds of stuff. I've, like, never in my life deleted a comment. No. I think maybe one, because someone was going on each person who commented and looking at their profile and saying really horrible things about them, and I was just like, you're done. It's like the one person I blocked. Yeah. But I'm literally like, okay, cool, because it's freedom of speech, which is what I believe in. Yeah. Okay. And there you go.
I really do think you're making a big difference, and you're just at the beginning of the growth, and there's nothing crazy at the top, I don't think, gonna bring it down. So I think you're just gonna go all the way up and change the industry as we see it now. That's my hope. And I say, this is what I've been saying lately, we woman fest it. We don't manifest anymore. Oh. We woman fest. So we're gonna woman fest for success in this platform. And then you should make a YouTube channel. That's going to be my second women festation, because we would love to have you in this space and be able to send each other's audience to watch more stuff. So
yay!
I'll send you my course. It's only $12,000. Just kidding.
Send me the link, girl. Send me the link.
Join my tribe.
Yes, this was me doing the codes, because a lot of people will do codes now to align and manifest. Okay. So I will womanifest that. Okay. And I will think on doing a YouTube, and I don't have any plans of going anywhere. If I disappear, it's because they've come for me and they've banged my account or something, dinged it. So I hope to continue talking about it, especially sharing people's stories, or also connecting with people who are doing class action lawsuits and policy change. That's a topic for another day. So I really hope to help spur those things from the people I've connected with, and then kind of like give them resources and go from there, because it's crazy out there. It's crazy out there. So
hell yeah. Make some change. Make some real change. I love it. Yeah. Awesome. And you have a Patreon, right? So how can people support you on Patreon?
I do. I have 4 whole members on my Patreon, and sometimes I'll say, so many of you have asked about my Patreon, and by so many, I mean one. But now you're the number 2. I have a Patreon. My name is Why Don't You Say Something? And I think that's the link. It's on my Instagram profile of Why Don't You Say Something.
Okay. Well, I will find it just to double check. I'll put it in the description of this video so people can find you and support you. And then we can all watch your videos and laugh hysterically, and then record ourselves laughing, and then we'll post it on our Instagram. Then you can take that and review it. It's a whole meta thing, It'll be great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We've talked for so long, and I think we got a lot of really good information from this conversation. So please come back.
Totally.
Again.
I really did. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing and for sharing your wisdom. And thanks everyone for listening to us 2 old gals here. It's been really fun.
These old gals just
us 2 little manifestors. What? Okay.
All right. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Thank you again to Eva from Why Don't You Say Something. If you feel so inclined to give her a like on her page, I would so appreciate it. I'm sure she would too. Thank you again to my amazing patrons over on Patreon. Once again, the link to join is in my description below. No pressure. There's always going to be free content here, albeit with ads, but a girl's got to eat. So what can you do? So I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.